If you haven't had an opportunity to watch The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, stop listening now. Major spoilers, here we go. Today is December 17th, 2014. There are dogs barking outside. It is hot as hell here in Hawaii, but we're going to get through this, all right? Without going any further, let me just stop and say thank you to Peter Jackson. Thank you to the cast. Thank you to the crew. Thank you to every single person that had anything to do with this Hobbit trilogy. Thank you to Warner Brothers for having, I don't know if it was the courage, but for doing this, for making Peter Jackson do this. It was fun. I think that it ended on a positive note, and I think that I will go back and rewatch every one of them one night on a binge night, and I'll be satisfied. Let me say this. This movie is not for the average moviegoer. Let me say this. This movie is for Tolkien fans. If you are a fan of The Hobbit, if you are a fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, this movie is for you. It's not for those who casually go to movies. It's not for parents who are drug along by their kids. It's not for uncles who are drug along by their nephews and nieces. It's for fans by fans, okay? Everything that you wanted to see inside of the original trilogy was placed inside of the Battle of the Five Armies. And I'll be honest with you, if you read the book, it's a short book. This movie should have never happened. The Desolation of Smaug should have ended this series, but it didn't. And at the end of Desolation of Smaug, we were in for something. I mean, they had us on the edge of our seats, and it said return in 2014 to see the end. And then as it led up to this day, December 17, 2014, the hashtag was one last time. I think that this last time was good. I don't know if it ended in the way that I would have ended it. I left the theater, like, to be honest, I left the theater in the same way that I left after watching Transformers Age of Extinction. I didn't know really what the hell I just watched. I loved some of the stuff that I watched. I smiled, I laughed, even inside here, the Battle of the Five Armies, I cried. It was really breathtakingly beautiful. But there was just something missing. So I had to give it the rating of a 8 out of 10 stars. For rewatchability factor, I'm kind of fluctuating after I've had time to kind of calm down. I watched this today at 12:15, and it's now 5:44. That's why I decided to kind of wait. And the rewatchability factor, I had it at 4 out of 10 stars. I can probably push it up to 5, and that's about it. But I don't see myself going back to the theater to go watch this again. I watched The Two Towers 25 times in the theater. I watched The Desolation of Smaug 2 times in the theater. The Hobbit 1 time in the theater. The Battle of the Five Armies 1 time in the theater. The Lord of the Rings 1 time in the theater. The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King 5 times in theaters. I don't know. There wasn't any Gollum. There wasn't a Smeagol. There wasn't. There could have been one moment where Bilbo and Gollum had one last thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to go back and I got to rewatch and maybe even watch the extended version to see, was there something that Peter Jackson left in the extended version or something? Because I don't remember it. But maybe inside of this, the Battle of Five Armies, maybe we'll get an extended version that has Gollum inside of there. Because I just don't understand. The last movie, it should have had him in there. I mean, maybe even at the very end, you know, to kind of lead into the Lord of the Rings. Because that's what I got out of the Battle of the Five Armies, okay? Five Armies gave us the introduction to the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. So as soon as you finish watching the Battle of the Five Armies, you go watch the Fellowship of the Ring. But there wasn't any ending to where, I don't know, maybe Gollum or Smeagol, I don't know, man. I have no clue about that. I don't know. I don't know. I thought it would have been kind of cool just to see maybe his eyes piercing out of the dark inside of a cave. That would have been good for me. I'd have been happy with that. They had everything else. They had damn eagles, rabbits. They had a transforming man that turned into a bear, and he actually turned into a bear and was actually, I think it was maybe 15 seconds. No, I'm not even. Maybe 7 seconds. 7 seconds. He flew out the sky, jumped off of the eagle, transformed in midair into the bear, and then started hitting trolls and orcs and stuff. That was dope, but they didn't show that much of it. It was about 7 seconds, man. They had everything. They threw everything at you, man. Gosh, man, Gandalf, Saruman, you name it, all the elves, every single elf you can think of, anything that you wanted out of this movie, they gave it to you, I'm not gonna lie, but it just felt like, after about 35 minutes in, they started checking boxes. Okay, we need to see where Gandalf's at, check. Okay, we need to throw in something from the Lord of the Rings, check. Throw in something from the Two Towers, check. Throwing something from this, check, okay? And then after that, well, let's go, and I know that in the Desolation of Smaug, we had the relationship between, oh yeah, the female character, yeah, okay, well, let's go ahead and let's go back to that, check. And then they kept checking off stuff, but it wasn't in any way that was, how do you want to say, it wasn't done right, okay? The flow of the film, I say probably like an hour and 30 minutes into it was really good, but then towards the end it just started falling apart, man. One of the biggest things is that, Smaug, his time on screen, I think, was probably 10 minutes, maybe 15. That's kind of pushing it. I'd say maybe 10 to 12 minutes. And the time that you actually saw him on screen was probably 4. And that's pushing it too. Maybe 2 minutes, to be honest. He flew around, he blew some fire. And then after that, he got hit and pierced with the arrow. And that was kind of, he didn't talk for that long. And I was like, don't they understand that when, Smaug was speaking in the Desolation of Smaug, that's what made the Desolation of Smaug so great. Such a great film. It speak, let the damn dragon speak. But what they ended up doing, for some reason that I'll never ever understand, they let the gold speak for Smaug, so whoever was tempted by the gold, they turned into this Smaugish type creature, if you will, okay? And, I mean, that was cool and all, but you were just missing. You were just definitely missing something, man. Everybody, how you want to say? I say maybe 4 of the best characters died. Murdered. Gone. You'll never see them again. They're dead. And their legacy, I guess, will live on forever, man. And that kind of worried me just a little bit, too, because I was like, dude, I understand, the reason and the justification behind this, but why? Just kill them for the reason of killing them? I mean, they were pretty damn, they're dwarves. They're not supposed to be weaklings. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, goddamn, orcs are pretty powerful, but I don't know, man. I guess that's my thing, man. It was... Let me kind of put it to you like this. There was a movie that killed a character, and that movie was Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., okay? It killed off Agent Phil Coulson, and on screen, it only gave us about 7 seconds to respond to that, okay? Once the knife went in through Agent Coulson's chest, from his back through his chest, and then he released it, and then he got blasted, and that was it. So you didn't have time to kind of mourn for your characters. And that's what happened tonight. Or today, I should say, inside of the Battle of 5 Armies. You didn't have time to mourn, man, the on-screen. It was rushed, man. It was really, really rushed. They could have pushed it out another 10, 15 seconds. Another 10, 15 seconds. But for some reason, they didn't. I don't understand it. I don't know the reason behind it, but that's just the way it is. Like I said, I'll be getting this on Blu-ray. I'm going to keep talking about it because I got to get this out of my head, but they should have done something different. That's all I got to say, guys. I'm out of here. Yeah, that's it. Let me know what you guys thought about all that good stuff. Thanks again for listening, all that good stuff. I appreciate the support.